book of Ezekiel, 38 chapter, and verse 17, it reads, "Thus says the Lord power, at Zohi, of whom I have spoken in the old time by my servants the prophets of Israel, which prophesied in those days many years, that I will bring thee against them all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Lakaha, Kadash, and Abhanat Zelda, and the apostles with me, son who know well, a peace, a blessing, and a salutation to you, Akim, who are pushing this truth to the four winds of the heaven, beyond the forefront of the spiritual war, to make sure Jerusalem is established as a praise, here on earth again, as in the days of old. So we come back to this another lesson coming to you through the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yashai, in which in today's lesson we are going to have an overview concerning Ezekiel's 38th chapter, in which Ezekiel's 38th chapter have many perspectives, man. You see, one among the many perspectives is history, and geography. You see the prophetic theme of it, in which that goes into military alliance, you see, in which we are living those time now as we speak, and it goes to talk about an alliance in which it will be formed in these last days to go against the beast, which is America, or New Rome. See. So this alliance will be chaired by who you call a Gog, and which in the modern time that's Russia. See, that goes into geography. As the scripture tell you, in the land of Magog, that was going to a landmass. See, if you go back in history, during the time of the Cold War, see, you have NATO, in which that was chaired by America, and his ally, in which that was Western Europe, and you have what you call the Warsaw Pact. You see, the Warsaw Pact, you see, the Warsaw Pact was chaired by the Soviet Union, the Balkan nation. I see, that was based upon a defense against NATO. I see, and Russia was the head guy in that alliance. You see, which is that brought about the fall of the Soviet Union. You see, in 1990 up to 1991. You see, but if you go even further, because this is very important, you go even further during the medieval time, you have these guys whom you call the Norsemen, and which is also as the Viking men. You see, they occupied different regions in Western Europe, Eastern Europe, and what you call Kiev today. And the Viking who occupied Kiev, they became to be known as the Kievian. Come from that word Kiev. So the inhabitants were called the Kievian, in which this were as a founder of the glorious Russian Empire. And when you study the characteristics of the Viking, these were people who loved the war and the invading other country. So they have that imperialistic nature in them. And that spirit, the Most High have maintained it up to the present day. Less of people who occupy that region, man. You see, that mountainous region, that's why it is called the land of Magog, man. You see, back in the medieval time, it was known as the Loose Land. When you go even further, it was known as the No Man Land. You see, as I was telling you, the founder of the Russian Empire, they didn't start settling in present-day Russia itself. They came from Kiev, and this were the Viking. They used to call the Rusland, you see, all the land between the Cappadocia and the Media, you see, that mountainous range, you see. So the inhabitant of that land, starting from the medieval, you see, all the way up until now, you see, there's the people who love war. You see, they have that imperialistic like nature, and like now you are seeing it. You see, in your life, man, you see them Russians, man. You see, even when you go back to the Soviet Union, that's why the collective West, they feared Russia. You see, and Ezekiel 38:4, it point into that, man. It say, I will turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth. Why put hooks into the jaw of Gog and Magog? You see, the Moshiach wanna turn Russia, you see, into that imperialistic nature, which is that energy which used to be in that region, man. You see, that imperialistic nature, man, that barbaric nature. That's what the Vikings were known as. They were known as pagan and barbaric. You see, they enjoyed the sight of war, man. Go and watch that movie, The Viking, man. You see, so the Moshiach right now, he's putting hooks in the jaw of Russia, and that way the hooks, you see, it goes into, see, it goes into different scenarios in which the Moshiach will throw out into this Russian. One among many scenarios is the expansion of NATO, man. It's commonly known as poking the bear. And NATO keep on poking the bear, man. So right now the bear is getting aggressive. You see, one among other scenarios in which many wars have been fought over is a control of resources, man. That's why this Ezekiel 38, a whole alliance, is about a quest to occupy what you call the Levant, or what you call the Persian Gulf, because it is believed throughout history, man. Whoever occupies the Levant, man, he rules the world, man. See, that's why we have a lot of war, man, going all the way back to the medieval again, the crusade, and everything, man, the jihadist, up until in recent history, man. That's why America have most of it is military bases over there in the Levant. So there is many aspects to this Ezekiel 38 alliance, as I was telling you, the prophetic theme of it, geography, you have history, you have commerce in here. You see, and the aspect of commerce is, I have explained to you, a quest to control the fertile crescent or the Levant. You see, and another a reason which will spearhead this alliance is a lack of resources, man. Which is a war in Ukraine. A lot of grain export have been blocked, and that really will bring into fold this northern African country, because what is experiencing right now is a drought and there's a grain incoming. So the Russian will provide them with the grain. You see, that goes into barter trade. You see, in exchange they will join the alliance, them Ethiopian. So in today's, we are going to look into the geography of this Ezekiel 38 alliance, and this is not like a breakdown or anything. This is just geography, man. I might come short in certain things, man. You brothers might correct me, man. You may correct me. So lucky for that. You may correct me if I go wrong too. certain issues, you might correct me. So I read Ezekiel 38, starting verse 1, saying, "The word of the Lord, Habashim Hashem to me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog and the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against it." You see, so you have, this is the land of you have Gog and the land of Magog. You see, so Magog goes into the land of Gog. You see, where Gog resides. You see, that goes into that mountainous region between they call it the Kaposcadia and the Media. That mountainous range, that is the land of Magog, man. You see, the chief prince of Meshech. You see, that word Meshech, it translates into Moscow. You see, a prince. You see, and to bow and prophesy against him. So we are going to see who is who in real life. That's the geography I was talking about, man. Because sometimes when you go into these different maps, sometimes the scholars they might slow you. They might slow you off balance, man. So let me see. Like this map, they show you Goma and Togoma are in the same place, and they show you Magog is Russia and Meshech and Tubal, and you will see. You see this one. It show you Meshech, Tubal, and Togoma are in the same place, but Goma is in this way. You see, and this one here, they show you Goma is French. They sometimes show you Goma is French. They sometimes show you Goma is Turkey. They sometimes show you Goma is Azerbaijan. I think I don't know if they are doing that on purpose or it's just map. You see, they always tend to throw that Goma everywhere, man. You see, you have Goma and Togoma again, Michigan and Tubal. You have Rosh over there and Magog. You see, so you see, sometimes like this, you see Goma, where Goma is. This is Azerbaijan like there. But this is a good map also. It shows you Magog, the chief prince of Meshech. It point direct that Meshech is Moscow, man. That's why I told you this word Meshech, it translates into Moscow, which means prince. Which Magog, as I'm telling you, is a landmass of Russia. So the Ezekiel satellite alliance was later going to a landmass. You see, not necessarily the people who live there as the original race of that area, like Gog and Magog. It does not mean those who live there today are Japhetic, no. Or when it goes into Togoma, that does not mean those are the Togomite. When it goes to Kushi, you see, and Persia, does not mean the Persian is there as a real Persian, man. Or Ethiopia, those who live there are really Kushite. It's a lot of mixture. Some of them are not Kushite, some of them are Ishmaelite. And Libya the same way. So this was rather going to landmass. It was going to geography. See, because there is a lot of history which happened. This landmass, this is the original inhabitant got displaced, or other people came in there. Like when you go over there in Egypt, the people, majority of the people who live there are Ishmaelite. When you go to Libya, majority of the people who live there are Ishmaelite. We have Jeki, and we have the original Libya, who known as Putu. You see, and Ethiopia is not as Ethiopia as you know it there. We will see that. So it is important to know the geography. The Ezekiel satellite alliance, the Lord dedicated a whole entire chapter going to this alliance. It's not a small alliance, man. And you will see. So as I told you, Meshech is Moscow, and Tubal, if you go to map, here is where Georgia is. So Tubal is most likely Georgia. And Togoma So you see as a map they put Togoma and Goma the same time, the same place. But Togoma, it was going into Armenia and Azerbaijan. As you know it, Armenia and Azerbaijan is also that was one country, and the Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, you know those Keskani, Uzbekistan, Armenia, Azerbaijan, that's Togoma. See, Goma is Turkey. This is not Goma, man. As I told you, they are throwing that Goma there. You see? So, Meshek is Moscow, Magog is Russia, Tubal is Georgia, Togoma is Armenia, Azerbaijan. If we go to that history again, after World War II, there was a conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan, a border conflict. But later on, when the Soviet Union annexed Armenia and Azerbaijan, that conflict was resolved. That's why the chief prince of this alliance will be Russia, man. You see, and what you see right now, you might see India and Pakistan, they have conflict. You might see Iran and a certain member. You might see certain member in this alliance, they have certain conflict. That's why the scripture tell you, let's go back to verse 2. The son of man set his face against Gog, and land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and the prophesies against him. That way the chief prince is there, it goes into what you call diplomacy. That's why I told you have many aspects of Ezekiel 38. You might go to diplomacy. Being a chief prince is you are watching over. You see? You are watching over your people. So Russia will be watching over his alliance, man. You see? Be it border conflict, be it, for example, recently there was a conflict between, not a conflict really, but Turkey, who is Goma, he wanted to invade Syria. But Putin called, you see, because that's the main guy in this alliance, called Recep Erdogan somewhere in Sochi, which Sochi is in I think Sochi is in Crimea, if I'm not mistaken. It might be in Turkey or Crimea, and he managed to resolve that conflict which was brewing between Turkey and Syria. Because what? Because the Lord have given a mandate to Gog to be the chief prince that was going to diplomacy. So it will be a diplomatic and a military alliance. Again, another verse over here, Ezekiel 38:7, be so prepared and prepare for thyself, though, and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be so a guard unto them. That was going to diplomacy, man. Not always a military aspect, but also you can apply a military aspect there, which is a more relevant, which goes into Russia will be giving weapon into the members of the alliance. Like recently, they have launched a spy satellite for Iran, in which Iran is in this alliance. You see. So we have tackled the Gog. We saw Gog. We saw Meshech, which is Moscow. We saw Tubal, which is Georgia. And then we saw Togoma, you see, in which here, let's go to the sea. And the phase that says, the Lord God, behold, I am against your Gog, the chief prince of Meshech. You see, that is the capital city of Russia, and Tubal. You see, we have laid the. Let's read verse 4. Let's not be lazy. Say, and I will turn thee back and put hook in thy jaw, and I will bring thee force and all thy army, hold the horsemen. That was going to heavy artillery, and which is the Russian are known as for heavy artillery, man. You see, heavy firepower. You see, you have artillery and what? You have artillery and heavy artillery and the infantry. You see, the horses and horsemen that was going to a heavy infantry, man. And artillery, all of them clothed with sort of armor, and even a great company with buckler and shield. You see, all of them handling sword. Persia, and Persia, it was going to the collective of Iran, Afghanistan, you see, Pakistan, and India. You see, let me show you, man, one thing. Let us see the Persian Empire, the Achaemenids. If I'm not mistaken, they are known as the other name for the. You see, the Achaemenids Empire, Achaemenid Empire. You see, it is stretched all the way to Afghanistan. You see, Afghanistan. Let me see. Let me see. Really quick. This is the Persian Empire here. Let's go to maps. This is the Persian Empire. Let me grab this. So you see, when it's talk about Persia, it's not all talking about the island. This will be a huge alliance, man. This will be a huge alliance, man. You see? See? That's why the Moshe gave it a 2 chapter. You see? Armenia. You see? It reached all the way to Armenia, Media. You see? All the way to India, man. You see? See? So you will have the Persian, you will have Pakistani, you will have Iran, you will have Afghanistan, you will have Indians there, that is Persia, Ethiopia, that was going to into the Kushite, man. See, let me see, that was going to Kush, man. And this is just one aspect. Let me show you one thing. You see, that was Armenia right there. Let me show you one thing. Fertile Crescent. That is the land of Havila. So Kushi. Let us get one map here. This is Kushi. So the Kushite Empire, you see, it involved what you call lower, and you have upper Nubia, lower Nubia, southern Nubia. You see, you have here. This is the southern Nubia. You see, southern Nubia, or call southern Sudan today, all the way to Lower Nubia. This is Lower Nubia. This is North Sudan. That's Lower Nubia. You have Eritrea in here. You have Ethiopia. You have Somali, the Horn of Africa, and then you have here what you call here, which was known as the land of Havila. You see, when you go to the book of so when you say Ethiopia, it was not going to just Ethiopia, man. You see? So this is the book of Genesis 10. We will go to Cushi. And the son of Cushi is Seba and Havila, you see? And Thapta and Lama and Thapteka. And son of Lama, Sheba and Dedan. So let's go to who are Sheba and Dedan. You have here Sheba and Dedan. That was going to Yemen and the Arabian Peninsula, man. The Arabian is called the Arabian Peninsula. That is Sheba for you. You see? What you call the Arabian Peninsula, desert, whatever you call it. You see? So this was the whole land of Havila. So the Kushite goes all the way from there. You see? Lower Nubia, southern Nubia, Eritrea, Somalia, all the way to the whole land of Havila. It involves Yemen, yes, man. You see? These people over there in Yemen, in which back in the day it was known as the whole land of Havila, it involved even the Arabian Peninsula. And these are people who are battle hardened. They go from one civil war to another. As we speak right now, there is an ongoing civil war in Ethiopia right now. People are dying, man. These people have been going through starvation, from one starvation to another starvation, from one civil war to another civil war, from one bombing campaign from America to another bombing campaign in America, from America. Go and watch the people in Yemen, man. You see? They are starved, you see? So the Kushite Empire is extended all the way to Central Africa, you see? That's why Russia was in Central Africa. Russia went to Uganda. Some certain part of Uganda, Upper Uganda, that was the Kushite Empire. That's why you have a lot of Kushite in East Africa, where I live. Even in my country, Tanzania, you have a lot of Kushite. Original Kushite, man. You see? And as I tell you, they came from the Babylonian Empire. This was the Babylonian Empire, man. You see? People who are hardened, man. We are talking about really men here. You see? Like how the Russia, the Russian, yeah, those are hardened. And when we go to that history of Russia, Russia have been experiencing home invasion since the time of inception, man. You see, they got invaded by who you call Napoleon. You see, from what you call, you see, Operation Waterloo. You see, in which Napoleon got defeated. You have Hitler, and in what you call Operation Barbarossa, in which Napoleon he got defeated by a general known as somebody Winter. If I don't remember that history well, but he got beaten up, man. His men got slaughtered. And during the time of World War II, you have Operation Barbarossa. And so when you even go back during the medieval time, when Jake was living here there, they got embedded with the Swedish Empire. That was the biggest empire, man. You see, in which the Swedish Empire got pushed back by Peter the Great. So they are hardened, man. These people fight against bear. You see, I saw these Russian soldiers, they are doing combat exercise in winter with bare chest, man. Winter, I'm talking about really winter, man. You see? So they are hardened. When we talk about Ethiopia again, this is also hardened. People who can take arm when they fight. We see. Do you know what's going on in Yemen right now? Severe malnutrition, man. These people are not even eating, but they can take arm when they go to fight. That's why I brought one point that this alliance, yes, it will be a diplomatic alliance. We give you grain, and you fight our wars. That's what Russia will be doing. That's why the Moshe also is with Russia, man. He is with Russia, but against Russia. You need to understand that, man. Because when Russia serves its purpose, it will be destroyed. He with Russia in the sense that Russia have a lot of natural resources, man, and grain, a lot of grain. You see, a lot of natural resources and grain. And the way Russia is located, that's the geography again, it is very strategic. You see? That's why it's like a Sony to Europe, man. You see? And right now, even the weather is helping Russia, man. This is a prophet, man. That's the prophetic theme of this alliance. So we have tackled Persia. So Persia, it involves many countries. You see the people in Afghanistan, man. You see, the people in Afghanistan have been fighting this invader known as America for 20 plus years, and they managed to drive them out. This is hardened, man. You see, the people in Pakistan, in India, the people in Iran. The people in Iran have been under sanction for 20 plus years, man. But there's a country still standing. We are talking about the Persian Empire here. The Archimedes, man. You see? Even Alexander the Great himself, he had to think twice to invade these people, man. This is a very ruthless They don't give a shit about America, man. You see? You have Goma, man. As we know, Goma is Turkey. You see, here you have Goma. Goma is Turkey. Togoma is not here. Togoma is over here. We're talking about Armenia and we are talking about Armenia and Azerbaijan, Uzbekistan and those countries. Tubo, we are talking about Georgia. Mishek, we are talking about Moscow. You see, so we tackled Goma, we tackled Persia, so we tackle, you see, Putu. You see, Putu is not just Libya. That North Africa, leaving out Egypt, that is Putu. You have Libya, you have Algeria, you have Tunisia, man. That is Putu, man. All of these people, guess what? What is common with all of these people? Ethiopia, whatever, man, Sudan, and Yemen, they're experiencing a drought and a grain shortage, energy shortage. And they're experiencing ongoing civil wars. Bombs are exploding. Malnutrition is going on. And everything, man. So the Lord is preparing their mind, man. They ain't gonna give a shit about you American, man. You see? So that is put over there. Put to Libya. You see, you have Algerian. So it is much more bigger. You see? That's put for you. Or what you call Libya with them. And all of them with shield and helmet. Why? Because Russia, the chief prince of Meshach, the headquarters of Russia is in Moscow, Goma and all his band. And then you have Goma and all his band that was going to Turkey. Turkey also have, you know, Turkey, he have his own little alliance. You know, Turkey, they call themselves the head of the Muslim world. They oversee. And what Turkey, they have the ambitions. I always see analysts talk about this. Turkey, they have the ambition to revive the Ottoman Empire. Do you know how large the Ottoman Empire was? When you're talking about Goma, you're talking about the Muslim world, man. You're talking about Goma right there, man. You're talking about the what do you call the Ottoman Empire here. You see, that's why the scripture tells Goma and all his band, because he have his little influence here. So the house of Togom of the North Quarter that was going to Georgia, and all his band, you see, and many people with thee. Be so prepared and prepare for thyself, though, and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. You see? So another point I want to bring is Isaiah 13. I think that was a very interesting point. The elder brother from, I think it is Atlanta, Georgia, he brought it. I thought that was a very important point. It is Isaiah 13:17 says, behold, I will stir up the media against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. You see? So this is another lesson, but I want to touch it to go through it. When you go back to the Soviet Union had what we call the Iron Curtain. They developed the policy, and that's how it is, man. Prophecy is not. You have a lot of things in which are interconnected with prophecy. You have policy in there. They had a policy in which a policy of self-sufficiency. That's the Iron Curtain over there, man. So they closed the whole relationship with Western Europe. Self-sufficiency. When the scripture tell you, I put hook into thy jaws. You see? It was also going to that diplomacy, that mindset. The Iron Curtain mindset. That's why you see Russia is cutting all ties with Western Europe and America, man. You see? Which shall not regard silver, and for gold they shall not delight in it. And when you look, you go into the Russian economy, they don't have any investment in America. Have you ever seen? There is a few investment. I'm not saying that they don't have huge investment like China. China have tentacles in the Western world. You see? As a matter of fact, the Western European economy is booming because of China's supply chain. They benefited from China's supply chain and in a huge manpower. The same way we see America. You see? But Russia, what does Russia have in Western Europe? No, man. What does Russia have in America, really? What tentacles do the Russian have? You see? What huge investment which they lose and start scratching their head like China. That's why China, they are thinking twice to invade Taiwan because they have a lot of to lose. But the Russian won't have any, like the elder brother used the impasse or sympathy against you American. They don't give a flying fuck, man. See? If we wanna really see what I'm talking about, go and watch the Russian state media about how those pundits they are talking about how they will destroy America in London. They don't give a flying shit. They are talking like somebody is talking. Go and slaughter that chicken. That's the vibe I'm getting, man. You see? They don't have any really. I will read down here and they will see. Behold, I will stir up the media against them, which shall not regard even for God, they shall not delight in it. That was going to the Soviet Union Iron Curtain, a diplomat, man. Their bow also shall dash a young man to pieces, and shall not have pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eye shall not pay children. You see, it may jump to verse 20. It says, it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be to dwell from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there. That was going to different business the Arabian have, this Arab have over there in America. You see? That was going to business. The Russians don't even have tents, that much tents in America, man, to regret. Neither shall the shepherd make their folds there. And when you talk about shepherd, what are you talking about? You're talking the most primitive form of trade known as barter trade, man. You see? The shepherd making their folds, that's where Esau was going to business, man. You see? So I hope this lesson was edifying. On to the next thing.